Welcome to Pixel Pizza,
Did she say pizza?
your ultimate source for chiptunes, video game talk, and pepperoni. Delivered to you from Los Angeles and into the digital cyberspace of the 2020s.
Pizza power!
That's right, one super giant pizza.
I want a large, thick crust with double cheese, ham, pepperoni. Hey, where's my pizza? Pizza time.
Welcome back to the Pixel Pizza Podcast, listeners. You just heard from our chiptune artist this week, Epshirey, and that track was called Drop the Beat Down. So I hope you liked that one. And now we are here with our game industry guest this week. He is a Korean-American writer and video editor. You might know his work from the upcoming dating sim, comedy game, Date Everything. This is Jay Choi. How are you doing, Jay?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Jay, I like to get started by asking, when in your life did you know you wanted to work on games?
So this is an interesting question because game writing is very new to me. I actually studied writing for like the screen medium, television and film, but I guess I just got more opportunities in other mediums in my life. And it was funny enough, like I had an interest for sure growing up. And we were talking about Sonic before this. Like
Yeah.
I was the type of kid that like drew my own stages on a giant map, like on a giant piece of paper, making a map out of it and coming up with a story. Which, adult me now tackling game writing has been like, oh, this is not as whimsical in terms of how easy it is to approach as I thought. But yeah, and it really wasn't until this opportunity with Date Everything that I was kind of like, oh, okay, this could be fun. Oh, actually, before that, I'm gonna retract that a little bit because I was obsessed with the Telltale games for a while. Yeah, I loved like just these narrative driven games with big emotional consequences and payoff. So there was a time when I was still living in New York that like I applied to Telltale like every year, like as much as I could. Never got in, but perhaps that's where my desire might have incepted from.
Yeah, that was me with Disney. I was applying to them forever, but never quite happened.
Oh, maybe someday. I mean,
Yeah, you
we
never
still have
know.
Time.
Totally.
Unless the country burns down, but
Yeah, obviously. And so tell me a bit about your writing, your screenwriting before that.
Sure. As I mentioned, I studied like writing for film, and I went to the School of Visual Arts in New York, and I kind of went in blind because I actually, film was like a last second interest for me, which pissed my family off a lot. But I just didn't. Out of like laziness, I didn't really want to work hard when I got out of high school. So I was like, yeah, I'll do film school, whatever, right? Movies are fun. And then I don't know if it's the same for the curriculum now, but the first year of SVA, the films program, you try everything. You try a bit of being on set, you try directing, you try writing, you try editing, you try recording sound. Like you get your hands on a little bit of every department, and then you choose at the end of the year what you want to emphasize on. And it came down to from what I was advised by peers and professors, was that it was either writing or directing. And directing because they felt like I had a good like I was pretty sociable and communicative on set, and writing because I just liked writing weird stuff. Honestly, maybe I just had too many anime influences, and they were just like, I never thought of this before. but yeah, ultimately I chose writing. Because again, less work, and but I don't regret it because I love storytelling. I was the type of kid in college that the things I wrote, I always want to add emotional gravity to weird situations. Sure, you could have a script. There's nothing wrong with a story about this grown adult man, and he comes across this young child that he needs to adopt and take care of, and see that the world is not so bad. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's cute. But like, what if the child was like a vampire or something? I don't know. What if the dad was actually a robot? I don't know. I just, so on and so forth. I just need a little bit more. And so for me, I'm like, high concepts are what hook me in, but if there's nothing underneath it, then it's a waste. So for me, I like to try and find that balance.
I mean, that's why I loved the new God of War games. Because, it is that storyline, but they're also gods, and they have to deal with that. And Atreus is discovering he has godlike powers, and what does that mean?
Yeah, and like balancing his emotions of like what, you know, like he's still like in the first game, right? Like first of the new games, he's like a boy, and then grows older, and you know, teenagers with superhuman powers is always just a fun little genre to follow. But yeah.
And I know, you know, when you got out of school and you were sort of developing your skills, you were able to sell some pitches to some major studios like Nickelodeon and Lego.
Yes. Yeah. So this is right after college. Instead of totally landing the dream job like everyone says you're supposed to right out of school, I worked in like retail and customer service. Like I worked a bunch of jobs for the longest time, and one of them was at the Lego store and in the Flatiron location in New York. And I recall a classmate of mine, a friend of mine, fantastic writer as well, Christian Marsh, and he was he at the time was telling me that his boss's husband is a huge fan of Lego, and was like, hey, would you be able to hook them up with like a discount on that new Millennium Falcon that came out? And for any Lego heads out there, this was the Force Awakens set. So and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I gave out my Lego discount like left and right. I was everyone's Lego drug dealer. And people were just like, yeah, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, just Venmo me, it's chill, I'll pay for it, like I'll bring it to you this location, just like let's meet up at like a random cafe. And I met up with my friend's boss, who ended up her name is Rosemary Palacios, who is now at the time was Nickelodeon, but now she's at Sesame Street, and she brought the first Filipino character to Sesame Street. So I was like, oh my god. So yeah, right. So it's cool to see where people go now. And but she was telling me like, thank you so much for Lego, like my husband loves these. And I was like, yeah, anytime, like I don't mind at all. And she goes, oh, like Christian tells me that you like write, like have you been doing anything with it? And I was like, I'm working at a toy store, so not really. but she was like, hey, if you know, here's my card and reach out to me. Like, let's talk. You know, maybe you can visit like the studio and stuff. And, you know, this is the part of the story where one might think, okay, this is it. This is where Jay his whole life trajectory changed. But actually for 6 months, I didn't respond at all. I didn't pick up the card. I was like super imposter syndrome. I just wasn't feeling it. I was so focused on surviving and making money at minimum wage first versus my creative endeavors, which, you know, like how can you fault anyone for that, for just trying to survive? But eventually, I just did a random cold email, be like, "Hey, if you remember me, like, I'd love to follow up. Or if your husband needs more Lego, I'm just happy to do that too." Because at the time, I benefited for every Lego deal I did. I got points. I got so many. Yeah, for every deal or every like discount I used for someone else, I got points. And so I would get like hundreds of dollars of Legos for like $3. And it was, yeah, definitely started my addiction. Yeah, and then we met up and they showed me around the studio and they asked me if I would be interested in writing for preschool. And I told them straight up, not really, because I feel like that's such a different world from what I want to write. But I'll do it, and I'm open for work. You know, I'm open to learn. And so I signed an NDA at right there. And yeah, and then she was like, "We'd like to see some pitches." And I worked on a couple of pitches, and I learned a lot about writing for preschool. You know, it's like different age ranges and how do we achieve like the excitement of something like TMNT but not have it violent? How do we use repetitive sequences to enforce into children's minds that like, hey, like this is where the story starts moving, or this is where, you know, it's the call to action. Like this is how we proceed, you know, things are going to happen after this. This is what they learn. So I learned a lot. And I pitched a couple of things, and eventually they took one, and yeah. And then we worked on that for 3 years. Nothing much happened with it, mostly because the team moved out to LA, and I was like, you know, maybe it's time I finally leave New York. And I move out, and a couple months after I land there, they're like, yeah, unfortunately, there was a new regime change, as happens a lot with companies. Yep. So my project got canceled, and so I was like, oh, I just moved out here for this. Yeah. So, and I had to go back to retail, etc., blah, blah, but you know, made it work. I, really enjoyed my time in LA and got to meet a lot of cool people, and more opportunities came along. So
That's great. I mean, assuming the NDA is done now, what was that? What project were you
yeah,
developing?
I'm pretty sure it's definitely, I'd be surprised if it was still up. That was like 8 years ago. So, it was supposed to be a preschool show, that was, the rumor was that Blaze and the machine, the monster machines, I believe that's the name of the show. There was like a monster truck show. There was a rumor that it was ending. So they wanted a new racing-esque car show to take its place. And I worked on a show, or my idea was a young boy kind of like fixes up this junkyard car, and it's kind of like a Knight Rider situation where the car is like sentient, and they race around and compete around the world against other kids in their vehicles, all in good sportsmanship to find these like rare upgrade attachment parts. So that was like supposed to be, I was also thinking about the toy components, which is what Nickelodeon was really excited to work with me with, because I was not just a retail worker at Lego, but I was like an enthusiast. So I was thinking about it from like the toy angle, and yeah, and then there was like these like you know, these nefarious villains who are always trying to like, kind of like Team Rocket, trying to steal the car parts and whatnot, and they just want to make their own thing and yada yada. So yeah, and I remember pitching a robot pug as a companion, and I was so excited, and they said, we don't need a dog. I was like, what like, so
Who doesn't need a dog?
doesn't need a dog, so I don't know, but yeah. And then I remember being like, should I be worried about Blaze and the Monster Machine? And they're like, no, it's fine, it's totally fine, yours is so different. And I remember being on the plane back from LA, like when I was visiting Nickelodeon at the time, like I flew over. And I remember being on the plane and like maybe like a row or two in front of me, like a kid was watching an episode of Blaze. And I was like watching the kid watch the show. I was like, okay, like I don't know what they're saying, but I can get what's happening. And I'm just like, I'm a little worried about this show. Like, I think it's still very popular. And I don't know if it's still going, but at the time it didn't end like everyone thought. And I was like, okay, I guess, whatever new Nickelodeon exec was like, we don't need 2 car shows. So yeah. Yeah, that's it. So it was
Disappointing.
it would have been a neat experience. I learned a lot from it, and I got to work with they partnered me up with a partner writer who formed a lot of my childhood. Mark Hoffmeyer. He wrote like episodes of the 90s animated Spider-Man, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Dragon Tale, Stage of the Jet Plane. I was like, yeah, you like formed my childhood.
Wow.
Like really, really nice man. And but yeah, then the project fell apart. So
what was the biggest thing you learned?
The biggest thing I learned is that it doesn't matter how cool and exciting an idea can be unless because it might not happen. It's a little sad to say, but like I just, I'm like, unless I see like the evidence in front of me, unless I sign the papers, unless like I actually see progress, I'm gonna pretend it's not real, and I won't give my 100% energy, because that's just, for me, wasting time. It doesn't mean I'm gonna handle each assignment like carelessly. I just know not to pour all my soul into it, because that's just gonna hurt me in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something my dad told me once. He's in business, and he said, never assume the deal is closed until you've actually shaken hands.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah. But now I just slap Nickelodeon's logo on every single resume. I'm like, sure. I can't. Yeah. It's sure it didn't come out to like a huge, big show or anything. But I can slap the logo on there and just say, yes, I have been paid to write for this company. So
and then I guess maybe not fast forwarding too much, but how did you come to be a part of Date Everything?
Yeah, so a little bit connected in some ways after Nickelodeon, and just I was just really depressed and just not sure what to do, and trying to pick up more. I worked at a waffle stand. I worked at really random odd PA jobs for Netflix reality shows. But I remember 2 really good friends of mine, Jason Marin and Rachel Liu, they work on like the indie film side and music video side of the industry. And they were telling me, like, if there's one project that you would like to come to life, like, what would it be? And I told them about my graphic novel, Bounty Light, which was based off of really old high school fan fiction of a series I will never disclose. No one has ever figured it out, and just evolved over time. And they're like, "Huh, interesting." And then like I showed them what it was about, and they're like, "Yeah, let's make this." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, like, we can't. Animation's too expensive at the moment, and like, you love anime, so why not make it a comic?" And I was like, yeah, I like comics. So, and it was kind of like a new venture for the 3 of us. And we did a Kickstarter for it. That happened right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I was like, oh no, people are not going to have money. Like, what's going to happen? But thankfully we were able to fund it. And throughout the pandemic, we worked on that comic. And I was my friend Ray Chase, of the one of the directors of Date Everything. I just sent him a copy because he was like, oh yeah, like I love comics, like I love to see it. So I just sent him a copy, and I was like, yeah, I hope you enjoy. And he reached out to me. He's like, hey, like, would you like to write for my game? And this really, the lesson from this, I would say, is like, yes, work on your personal project, make that thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I tell people this is not the most prestigious form of writing ever. Like, these were just wild ramblings that I contained together, and I turned it into a physical, tangible product, because at the end of the day, who cares about an idea when they can just see the real thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so with that, like, me working on my personal project got me this job on Date Everything, which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to when you were working at the Lego store and you didn't reach out to that lady because you were concerned about the imposter syndrome stuff, but then you did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really taking that leap.
100%. Yeah. And like, I remember my my friends who helped me, and they ended up being my editors on the project. And they were like, I was like, I don't know about this. And they're like, well, when are you going to be ready? And I couldn't give them an answer. So they were like, why not now? So,
Yeah.
Granted, I think I was a little too ambitious starting, because I just right off the bat never made a comic before. 164 pages, let's go. And but it worked out. So yeah.
It can be so hard to rein yourself in when you have a really big, cool idea.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But if you, whoever is listening out there, has a personal passion project, why not? You know,
Yeah,
just
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. And so the game has 100 different characters you can romance.
Yes.
And I imagine, I think, you only wrote for some of the characters.
Yes.
But sort of how did you stay on the same page tonally and like lore consistency and everything with the other writers?
Sure. It's interesting because our process, I feel like, I mean, even though I'm very new to like game writing, I did get a sense that the process was a bit unorthodox, where a lot of we would have these big meetings and just on a call and just listen to Ray and Robbie Damon just go over everything and get general guidelines and just answer any questions we had. And they assigned us characters and just kind of let us do our own thing. And whenever we'd submit our things, we were free to just discuss with each other, like if we had any ideas, and then just go to Ray or Robbie about it. But from my understanding, that I was brought in along with like the first wave of writers, and I believe a friend of mine took over as like an overseeing writer and just did like a pass over everybody's work. Suha, if you're listening, I do not remember your last name. Please forgive me. I'm gonna type it right now on social. Suha Al-Samkari, who has worked a lot in indie games, and yeah, but she came onto the project way after I left. I already finished and turned in all my assignments. Yeah, and to answer consistency, like they encouraged writers to like, hey, if you think your character will interact with this character, reach out to that writer and then come, like, let's all talk together. So my characters, however, I feel like didn't really interact with a lot of other characters, mostly because they gave me all the weird ones. And when I say weird ones, they gave me a lot of the concepts of the game. And if you're not aware, it's not just like objects you can date, like you can also date concepts of things. So one of my first characters revealed was on one of the Nintendo Directs for the game.
Oh, wow.
Text Box Chan, which is supposed to be the game itself. I'm not quite sure. We talked about how you're supposed to encounter her. I don't even know exactly how you're supposed to find her, but from my understanding, it's like, yeah, there are like these weird secret ways to find and unlock these other dateable characters. I know like there's like a magnifying glass, I believe, that gives you hints about them around the house, the overture of the world, or of the world, the hub that you're in. And I remember seeing that, like seeing my character in the Nintendo Direct, and I like texted my mom. I was like, oh my god, like something I wrote was on a Nintendo Direct, like my dialogue's on screen. And she goes, congrats on the Nintendo. And I'm like, oh, that's not, you know what? It's okay. I'll just take that. I'll take that. So I don't need to explain. Like, so, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you know the prestige of a Nintendo Direct, you really know it. Like, I actually was I also do voice acting, and I was in a game that just came out, and that got featured in a Nintendo Direct a little while back. And I
congratulations!
I was so excited. And now I can, and it's the new Fantasy Life game.
My friends are obsessed with that game. Like, I have not heard from them in forever. Like, it truly is like in our like Discord server. I just see like when it says like, it says live when you're like streaming and whatnot to your friends, and like everybody's streaming, and I hover over my mouse just to see the thumbnail, and it's all Fantasy Life.
Wow.
Like, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I saw the Steam charts for the game, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is big.
Yeah. My friends couldn't wait for the Switch version, and they paid the extra however much dollars to play it early. They just couldn't wait. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, oh, you guys are animals for the game, but I'm glad you're all having fun.
But yeah, I mean, getting back to you, so were there any other characters you did besides Xbox Chan?
Yeah, so they have all been revealed at this point. So funny enough, I actually, when started, everyone was assigned 5 characters for 5 objects, and we were given the object and the name of the object, and we kind of had to just come up with their personality and who they are and their entire dialogue tree and routes and endings, like everything from the ground up. Like literally, we were just like, here is the UI, and her name is Textbox Chan. And I had to come up with everything else, like what kind of personality she is. And we had to write in, like, it was fun. Like, do you have any voice actor requests? Like, who you think is going to voice this character? For all of them, I was like, I don't know. Like, go with your gut. Like, I'm not the voice director. But I think it's nice. Like, other writers are more excited than I am about that. I'm like, whoever gives the correct performance, that's up to you to decide, not me. But yeah, and we were assigned 5 initially. But I turned in a lot of my assignments early. Like because I'm just juggling. At the same time, I was writing for a show in Singapore called Paul and Pals, a children's show. So I eventually did get to work on a children's animated preschool show. Great. So thank you. And but because I was balancing all that work, I was like, okay, I just gotta schedule myself and get this stuff, get everything done early. So I turned in my assignments early, and every meeting with Robbie and Ray, they just had nothing but very nice things to say, and very few little notes. And they actually asked me, like, would you be open, like, we'll pay you more, like, to write for like a 6th character? And I was like, sure, like, why not? And I just went for it, and they kept asking me to write more. But I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so busy. Like, I can't anymore. That being said, I did hear, or after talking to my friend Suha, who like looked over everything, and I was like, I'm just curious, how much of my stuff has changed? It's okay, I know this happens. And she was like, honestly, a lot of yours is relatively unchanged, which makes me feel great. Except 2 of the 6 characters I wrote were very different. So I actually reached out to Ray and I was like, hey, I heard through the grapevine that two of my characters are very different now. And if they're so different, I personally would like to not be credited for them. If that's the case, I don't know how you're doing your credits. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, I appreciate that. And honestly, I don't think they're going to credit, like, there's so many names, so many writers, I don't think they're going to credit per which character they wrote. I probably just a big scroll of text, but yeah, so now if I am, 4 of the characters that have been revealed out of the 100 are my creation, and they have been Textbox-chan. The second to be revealed was Monique the Wallet. She was revealed during, like, they did like a 12 dates of Christmas kind of like social media posts where every day until Christmas they revealed somebody, and Monique was one of them, and she's voiced by Judy Alice Lee, who also voices Luna Snow in Marvel Rivals, which I've been playing a lot. So I was like, oh my goodness. And we follow each other on Instagram. I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't say hi or anything, but I was just like, oh, I wrote your character. Oh my goodness. So, and then the third revealed was Shadow Lord 420, which is he is darkness. Again, from what I pitched was that all the lights in the house of the game are off, and then when you put on your Dateviator glasses, then darkness should appear. I'm not sure if that's the same case with the actual game. And him being voiced by Alex Leia, I think, is also very cool because I'm very into fighting games. So he voices Luke in Street Fighter. Yeah. So, and the protagonist in Persona 3. So,
Oh, sure.
And then my fourth character finally got revealed, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago. Hirohime, who a lot of people have been wondering what she is because they recognize that she's like the anime girl on the poster in your bedroom wall. I don't know if that's changed, but from when I was pitched, she was an anime figure. So, and when I got the list of characters, the assignments, and I saw Shadow Lord 420, I was like, this name is insane, and I know exactly what to do with this guy. And Hirohime, the anime figure, I was like, Ray, thank you. He's like, yeah, I don't think anyone's as big of an anime fan here in the writing staff as you are. So I was like, I know exactly what I need to do for this. So, and she's being voiced by Stephanie Sheh, who is Sailor Moon. So
Wow.
So that's
on point casting.
Yeah. So I hope people are looking forward to those 4 characters. I know people are very excited for like sexier characters, which I think I will say that was a note that I got from Robbie. Was like, man, like your stuff's like really wholesome. I was hoping for something a little bit more hotter, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Like, I love dating sims and otome games and stuff, but like, I just like the soft stuff, you know?
I know what you mean. The emotional connection.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's been a sexy pass from other writers on top of my stuff, so I'm gonna find out. But like,
I mean, do you think it was a challenge at all because you were writing for a kids show at the same time?
Interesting. Maybe it was also just different because I was disciplined in screenwriting and formatting to screenplay. But for this, I had to learn a program called Ink, which is kind of like coding. So I kind of had to like learn coding and writing at these characters at the same time, because in this program that you can set up parameters so that you can play like just a text version of your route, like, and so I would do that to test, do all my decisions work? Like, if I said this, but I said this thing way earlier, will it like block me from this route, or, stuff like that. but yeah, I would say it was maybe more freeing considering the limitations of children's media, like, and the types of topics you're allowed to write. While I was like, for date everything, I'm like, can we swear? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, fucking son of a, like, you know, just like going crazy. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Was there any of your own real world dating experience that went into your writing?
Oh, interesting. It's been so long. I'm trying to recall with each of the characters. I feel like for what people can expect from text box is a naive, what is that called? Unrequited love. Where you'll find that she is very much on the side of you, the player, and she wants you to succeed, but there is definitely a hint of loneliness in when she helps you, because she, as the game, recognizes that you're out to date everything. So, and I guess, you know, who hasn't had an unrequited love, like a crush on someone, and you're just like, oh yeah, like, you know, and they'll be like, oh, you're so reliable, you're such a good friend, and you're kind of like, okay, like, just, but you stick with it because your heart is in control, right? For Monique, the wallet, I think I expressed frustration when you are frustrated and trying to communicate with your partner why things can't go the way that you want 100% of the time, and what kind of compromises you can deal with, to the point where sometimes, like, players might face that Monique may appear too controlling. But it's also opening each other's perspectives. For Shadow Lord, oh god, I just wrote a lot of cringe things. I don't know. Like, his name is Shadow Lord 420. I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna be this is an edgelord. So, but there is a layer of connection, like the yearning for, I just want to make a meaningful connection, and it's masked by a lot of grandiose gestures. And then for Hirohime, in the same sense about connection, having a connection but keeping it up and not wanting to lose it, making sure that it's filled with spark and life and fire every day, which players will have to realize, like, is this the correct way to handle like her gestures and responses, or should you be pushing her towards a different type of freedom? So yeah, I'm saying all these things, but I bet someone's gonna like listen to this way later and it's like, yeah, Jay's routes weren't that deep, whatever. Like, so but
I mean, yeah, it sounds definitely like you put a lot of thought and feeling into it, and I think it says very good things about the directors, that they thought of you for things you would be good at. Again, those choices were on point for the type of things I like to write. So I was curious, you've traveled all over the country for conventions and selling art and your graphic novel and things. And what is it like meeting so many different fellow fans of games from all these places?
Yeah. It's nice. We were talking about Sonic earlier, and the Sonic fandom is just always excited, especially with the movies now.
So good.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All my Shadow fan art just sells out so fast. Yeah, no, it's really neat, and I kind of pride myself in my artist alley work, that I choose games that were nostalgic for me and a bit more niche, but I know it has some like there's definitely like a following for sure. Mega Man Battle Network was a Game Boy Advance game I played so much outside of Pokemon, and every time people see my merch of it, they're just kind of like, oh, I've never seen anything for this series ever in like conventions. And I hear that a lot for a lot of the stuff I draw, which makes me very happy to hear. Drawing is such a new thing in my life, and I still pride myself as a writer. Like, that's the main thing I want to do. It's just, the country's on fire, not as many writing jobs, and people like looking at pretty pictures. So, but yeah, and it's just neat. The fighting game community is amazing. I love Marvel vs. Capcom, and so having people come up and just seeing my stickers arranged like the character select screen, and I have I do like buy 3 for like a deal and whatnot, get a team of 3. So so it's fun. I like having these kinds of interactions with different types of gaming fans all around the world, or the country, hopefully the world. I don't know. I haven't traveled out of the country yet for a show, so
that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Does it impact the way you write at all, or you make things, sort of knowing your audience more directly?
Absolutely. I think I've always been kind of like that, where I feel like write what you want, draw what you want, create whatever you want, and that's a nice sentiment. But for me, I have this like logistical, pragmatic side of me where it's kind of like, okay, but there's a fine line between the two. There's a way to get part of what I want and what other people want, and and the part where what people want, does it align with what I want? And like, I totally believe there's a way to like hit that fine line. I never want to like shell out and write or draw something that's popular just because it's popular and I know nothing about it. For me, there has to be some connection to it. There must be like, I must experience it once, I must play it once or watch it a few episodes and just find what I like about it. And I never want to force myself to create something. That being said, though, when it comes to just writing, I definitely find myself rewriting a lot. Because as I'm writing things out, I think, I think this is neat, but what do other people like think? And I'll ask some friends around and they'll be like, yeah, no, I think it's fine. I'm like, yeah, you sure? Well, okay. And I still might not feel the same later, even with that approval, because I'm just constantly thinking about like, what if I was like reading this, what would I think? Would I be satisfied with this kind of resolve or conclusion? So it can be stifling at times, but sure. I wish I could be just truly unhinged and just do whatever I want, but I feel like I don't have the confidence for that yet.
Yeah. And I mean, certainly I was thinking about it because when you do a pitch like the things you've done, I know often the first question that gets asked is, who is this for? Yeah, knowing your audience, right? Which I hated answering that question. I'm like, it's like you have people in their like 30s and 40s who love like cartoons. Like, if I say, oh, well, this is for like an executive just can't get their mind wrapped around, this is a show that's meant to air on a prime time. And I guess like middle schoolers and early high schoolers will watch it, but like, like the freaks on Tumblr, I say this lovingly, the freaks on Tumblr are gonna be like, like writing all these fanfics and like, doing fan art for it. Like they just can't grasp that, because they're like, well, we can't market that. It has to be numbers. Everything is quantifiable into just digits. And it's so frustrating to as a creative to communicate that to someone who isn't. But I've gotten real good at writing the age numbers in my the demographics in my pitches now, though. Just so I could like, look, let's just move on from this. And one of the other things you do is you edit videos for
Mm-hmm.
Prosy D,
Mm-hmm.
famous voice actor, Vine comedian, among
Mm-hmm.
other things. What's that been like?
Sungwon, I hate that dude. No, I'm just kidding. That dude sucks. No, he is one of my most cherished and I would consider very close friends. But I always tell people don't work for friends. That being said, it's been really nice being a part of his life, being a part of his fandom. At the same time, and he knows this because he's such a nice dude where he's always like, are you like not happy being involved with me? And I'm like, it's not that. I tell him this. I'm like, I think your fans suck, man. Like they're so mean sometimes. And I don't mean everybody, but there's a difference between his main core fans that only want the skits. They only want the goofy covers, but I'm just responsible for editing whatever he wants me to edit.
Sure.
So when I put something out and people get mad at him or mad at me for it, I'm kind of like, why? Like, I thought you liked him as a creator, but clearly you just want him as an entertainer, which is not like, if you want him as an entertainer, go watch his voice acting. But they just want the skits. Like it's cyclical, but it can get very frustrating. He and I have had a lot of conversations about this, and YouTube is just crashing like crazy. But we also, there was a time where I was as a host on his Let's Play channel, ProZD Plays Games, and we love that channel. Since I've moved, I'm still involved by editing all the episodes and. And new co-host Steve Yurko is amazing, and I just we love that channel so much. We love being involved and talking to those fans. When those fans appear to me at my booth, it's more so about I love the work that you did there, and I love what you do here and outside of it. Versus, I only know you as a component, a cog inside of this gigantic, 3 million subscriber plus channel, and it's I've gotten very rude comments before from people being like we did a Q&A video once, he's like, oh, this is my editor Jay, we're just gonna ask him a couple of things, and one of the top comments who the fuck is this guy? But that people really just want to see what they want to see. People will only know you for what they want to know you as. And as someone who does a lot writing, drawing, and video editing, it kind of does keep me in an identity crisis sometimes because I want to be known for my writing work. But unless it's a big mega hit on Netflix, then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what I put out. So it can be frustrating. But that's just the social and unfortunately the parasocial side of of being involved with Sungwon. But as his friend and as editor, it's been great. I'm very thankful to have a consistently employed job in these times and allowing myself the freedom to do other things and pursue other things. And it's cool to see the things he comes up with, and what he does. I've learned very quickly that his fans really just like a very specific style of video editing. Anytime I've tried a little bit of experimentation, there's always 20 comments or so out of the hundreds, saying oh, this video felt really weird. Oh, I don't like how this video is going, and I'm just kind of okay. So I was doing it because he allows me that freedom. He allows me to just try whatever. And I try to make editing his videos more entertaining for me. But nope, just gotta keep it the same. Just gotta keep it the same no matter what. So
yeah, I think I guess it's a pros and cons situation where
Hmm.
on one hand it makes your job easier to know exactly what you need to do, what style
Yes.
you need to keep.
Yes.
But on the other hand, it can be stifling to not do what's fun for you and try
It,
new
it
things.
yeah, it just gets stale, which is why I appreciate the Let's Play channel so much, because it's just whatever game they play, it's always, whether they enjoy it or not, or do well, or most times do really badly. It's always a good, entertaining time, and
Hmm.
I feel like I'm hanging out with my friends again. So,
Great.
mhm.
And you also edit videos for your own channel. You do vlogs of your traveling conventions and stuff.
Yeah. I recently came back from Anime Boston, and I actually met a couple of fans who were saying they enjoy my vlogs, and I was like, "Oh, is there anything that you would like differently about them?" And they're like, "No, we just like that you keep it real and you're yourself." And I'm like, "Oh,
Aw.
that's nice. I'm very angry in this next vlog, so be prepared for that." So, but yeah, it's been yeah, it was. I remember I actually asked Sungwon for a lot of advice about YouTube, because I'm like, I don't want to blow up into a megastar or anything, but
Sure.
I respect that you just do whatever you want, and you don't care about the algorithm. You don't care about, like, if we like locked in and just focus on the algorithm, oh, easy. Like, we can make YouTube a full profitable thing, but that's not in his interest. That's not in my interest. So I asked him, like, what is it like just doing your own thing? He's like, oh, just have fun with it. Like, do what you want to do. And like, make sure it doesn't become a chore. Like, sometimes coming up with constantly the same type of video can be repetitive and boring, and it just doesn't feel fun anymore. So yeah, and I was kind of like, okay, like, let me just try things. And I think now the most consistent things are my vlogs, but before I just did a bunch of random things that I just thought was fun. I used to review manga that I read while eating, like, whatever I had for lunch that day. So, which someone asked me, like, when are those coming back? And I'm like, I don't know. I haven't read anything in so long. I've been so busy, and it costs money to constantly go out to eat. So, but yeah, and it's fun. I've done a lot more editing work than I thought I would in my life, and I don't consider myself a master video editor by any means. But I don't know. It's very relaxing sometimes to just stack
Yeah.
the clips together and just make it make sense.
Definitely. No, I enjoy that too when I have to for marketing stuff or
Mm,
jobs or whatever. But
yeah.
I saw a post that you did and I could relate so hard where you were
Which
saying
one?
about After Effects,
Oh my,
how
yeah.
impossible
Oh,
it is to
it
figure
it's
that out.
it makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, anytime a client asks me, like, and when I say client, like Sungwon, or even like sometimes I'll do some freelance. Like, for commercials or
Right. That's
etc.
what I'll do
And
too. Yeah.
yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh, can you do like this kind of thing?" And I always look it up. I'm like, "Can I do this in Premiere? Like, what is like the janky version of this?" And then I will gloss it up as much as I can, and they will never know the difference. So there are obviously some limitations.
Yeah.
Sometimes for just ease, I will just buy the pre-made render in After Effects and just export it out as fast as I can, because I'm just like, oh my god. But like, every time I export something out of that program, I cannot do anything. I have to go take a walk. Like, it's awful. So, yeah, After Effects is the devil.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today, Jay.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Getting your email was a very pleasant surprise, and yeah, I hope everyone's looking forward to Date Everything.
Yeah, should be a really fun game. So, this is the Pixel Pizza podcast. Choi, where's your favorite pizza place?
My favorite pizza place is very simple, and it is a chain in New York City. I love Two Bros Pizza. It's so simple. You get it. You get it.
$5, 2 slices and a drink.
Oh my God. Yeah. Every time people say like, oh yeah, like $4 a slice, that's cheap for pizza. I'm like, no, that's half a pie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, ooh. And for me, pizza is so important. Pizza saved me when I was like, had less than $200 in my bank account for like 8 years in New York. Like, I could just eat that every day and survive. It was amazing. Pizza's meant for poor people, not luxury. Like, but yes, Two Bros Pizza.
No, yeah. I'm from New York originally, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you get it.
I was out super late and everything was closed. So easy.
Yeah, 100%. I like, don't get me wrong, I love my fast food pizza, but that was two, like, just dollar slices. I mean, now it's like $1.25 or whatever, but still, it's still better than what I see.
Compared to other places that have inflated their prices.
Yeah.
Still good for poor people.
Yes.
Awesome. Then we are gonna head off. But where can people keep track of you and your work?
Yeah, you can follow me. You can just find me anywhere on at Epshirey. It's like the word superior, but my name, Jay in front. I'm on YouTube, but in terms of socials, I update Blue Sky and Instagram the most. I don't know if I should keep using Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah, I gave it up.
I want to give it up, but people still tell me they found me on Twitter. I'm like, oh no. So anyway, that's where you can find me. And you can check out my free preview of my graphic novel Bounty Light, which is, you can find, if you just look through all the links on any of those sites, you will find it eventually. So
awesome. Go check it out. And thank you all so much for listening. And check back next time for a new interview. And now you're going to hear one more track from our chiptune artist Epshirey that is called Peppermint. So enjoy that. See you soon.